welcome everyone to the 2023 Just Start Summit. It is an absolute pleasure to be here with you all. As a reminder, this is our first Just Start in-person summit since the very first one that we did in person in 2019. So we brought it back in person. So with that, it's time for our conversation this morning. I take great pride in ensuring that the conversations that I invite for people to have, not only on the podcast, Just Start From Ideas to Action, but here at the Just Start Summit, that they are people that I know, people that I have a relationship with, people who operate ethically, people who are about their business, and people who have a story to tell. And so it brings me great pleasure to welcome up here in just a moment, Nicole Lovelace. All right, but before she comes up, let me say a few things. Nicole owns PRMP Brow Studio in Silver Spring, and she's also expanded to another location, which she'll share in just a short while. What I am in awe of about Nicole is her transparency, right? Because I will come and sit in her hair, and sit in her chair, excuse me, or sit in her hair because it's beautiful too. Sit in her chair, and it's not like, hey, Jacqueline, everything's great, like everything's magical all day, every day. She's like, listen, I'm having a hard time today. I don't love this today. I created this thing, and here's what's happening today. And that's what's necessary when you start. It is not all roses. It is not all peaches, right? But she is still here. She recently expanded to a second location, even with the challenges that are going on. And so I know that is worth a clap. That is worth a clap, right? And I think I saw some of her family creep in here. I think I saw her husband creep in and her daughter creeping in the back. So hey, there's space up front for you if you like as well. So with that, Nicole Lovelace, how about you join me on the stage as we have a candid conversation about what it really takes to get started. Okay. I'm sitting on it. All right.
Morning.
Good morning. Good morning. So how is it going? Tell me, how are you before we dive in today?
I'm actually doing well.
Yeah.
I'm doing well today.
Good. Okay, so let's dive all the way in. Okay. First things first. Why the beauty industry?
So
the
honestly,
truth.
Yeah, so it looked like it was lucrative. I wanted to make some extra money on the side, and so I started doing makeup. I used to, coming out of college, I watched a lot of reality TV. So I would look at Keisha Cole and, you know, my trash TV and say, oh, I want to be a celebrity makeup artist. So that's really how I got interested and started in it. But a lot of my friends also bring me back to college when my business plan, my closing project was, my business plan was on a spa. And I actually forgot about that until a lot of my friends are like, you know, this is like a full circle moment. So that's how I got started.
Okay. One thing I know is you had a stop in the financial industry space.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Tell me about that transition, and there's a reason I'm asking her this question. It is because lots of us have had corporate professional careers, or still do, right? You want to start something off the side of your desk, you're like, I'm capable of more. And sometimes it's hard to go from, I'm an engineer, right? I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I am a government employee, right? To transition from, this is what I know, this is what I've been doing, to, let me start this new thing in a space that feels good, maybe, and you want to be lucrative in it. But tell me what that journey was like from you transitioning from the financial industry space to now being in the beauty space.
It was interesting for sure. I never sought out to make a full transition. I thought I was going to work my way up in the government, and then when I became a contractor, just work my way up there, just like my mom did. She retired from the government. So I really thought that I would do it part-time for as long as I wanted to, but there became a point where, as much as I love numbers, I still enjoy budgeting. I grew miserable doing what I was doing, and I said, I have to get out of this. I'm very much not the person to show up late, but I found myself arriving to work past my hours, you know, just kind of slacking in what I was supposed to be doing. So I knew that I needed to find something else to do. And at that time, that something else was makeup, so I thought. So my friend introduced me actually to a business coach who was helping people make the transition from employee to entrepreneur. And so I went to her and I said, I need to be out of here in 3 months. And she
Wait,
just
3 months? Like 90 whole days. Okay. Husband, were you good with this? Is what it is? Okay. All right.
So she just kind of said okay and let me think that that was what was going to happen. We developed what I thought was a plan for that transition at the time. That plan, again, I thought was makeup, but it didn't go that way. I started positioning myself as a brow artist. Unbeknownst to me, I just started posting my brow work, and people gravitated towards that instead. And within a year, I was able to make the transition. With that being said, I was part-time in my own suite. I was part-time at a spa. So I had people that I could glean from that were giving me mentorship along the way. Also, part of the reason I discovered I didn't want to be a celebrity makeup artist, one of the bosses of a spa I worked at, she was also a celebrity nail artist. So she would take me on set, and I said, nope, this is not
This ain't it. This ain't it.
So, yeah, it took about a year for me to make the transition, and I worked in a private suite for probably another year. But my husband, we were dating then, his barber worked at a hair salon, and he called me and said, hey, they're getting rid of this space, and I think you should give them a call. So I did, and that's how I got into the brick and mortar space that we are in now. And we're actually about 3 minutes from Silver Spring, but we're in Northwest DC.
Mm-hmm. Now, to paint the picture here, right, because many of us have experienced brow treatments, have experienced, waxing, threading, tweezing, all the things, right? And what I want people to understand is the experience that they get when we come into Print Brow Studio, right? And let me just tell you a story. I was going to Nicole for quite some time, and something happened where I started traveling and I got busy, and they have a very specific intake process, right? The experience is incredible. I'll say that. And so the next time I came back, maybe like 5 months later, I'm talking to our front desk person, and she's like, oh, you need to come back in to have your re-intake again. And I was like, but I've been going there all this time. Why we got to do this re-intake again, right? But it's a part of the process. It is part of the experience, right? They want to make sure that your brows are where they need to be, or need to understand your brows in order for them to be what you expect for them to be. And I really respect and appreciate that, right? You could have said, no, come in, let me get this money, right? We can make them look okay, fill them in. But she's like, no, no, no. As a part of our workflow and as a part of our process, this is what we do. And the reason why I pull this out is because one of the speakers that we have today, Sean Brooks, is focused on tools and workflows, right? Because it's one of the biggest mistakes that we make as entrepreneurs is we start reinventing the wheel and doing stuff differently over and over and over again, and you can't get into a system, right? I'm also impressed with, this is a good time for me to talk about Brandon Hurst, who's our closing conversation. We had the pleasure of experiencing the true behind the scenes of Chick-fil-A. And my husband and I, we went on a tour of Brandon's store in Brooklyn. And if you think that Chick-fil-A is like quick, frozen, everything's frozen, they unthawed, no, it's a process in the back. And so the takeaway here is, please, let's get into our workflows and our processes to make sure that we're not reinventing the wheel every time, and we have a proven workflow. It saves us time, energy, and also money as well, okay? Let's talk about mistakes. There won't be a time when you grace the stage with me or you're on a podcast with me where we aren't transparent about mistakes, because we save people a lot of time, energy, and money. So tell me, what was one of the biggest mistakes that you made in getting started?
I got a couple, but
we'll take a couple.
Okay. I'll start with just the hiring process. I didn't really have a process in the beginning. I hired people who I knew were talented, not necessarily people who I knew resonated with our vision, with our values. And so while these people were great at what they did, they set a different tone for what I was looking for in the business. They caused drama and riffraff and all the things that didn't align with what I was trying to create. So I would say that was one of my biggest mistakes. But one of the things I did to remedy that, I don't know if you're going to ask me this, but one of the things I did to remedy that was to create a hiring guide. So there's a step-by-step guide that I use to hire people. There's also kind of like an avatar. So what do I want this person to look like when I'm hiring them? And so although we're a brow bar, we're a waxing studio, there's still a certain person that I want there because we want to attract certain people as well.
Gotcha. can I talk about the hard question of money? Can I talk about it? Okay.
Sure.
And it wasn't on the agenda here,
Okay.
right? Okay. All right. But it's important. All right. It's so important that we have a session focused on startup and business funding that is being facilitated by Dr. Marlo Renter. Hey, Dr. Marlo Renter back there. All right. It's a really important conversation because a lot of times we think when we're starting something, I need money. I need money right now. Right now. Get cash now. Right. But do you really need it out the gate? Right. So Marlo's going to take you through the journey of understanding what are the different areas or what are the different resources that are at your disposal as it relates to money and overall startup business funding. But can we talk about yours? Okay. Was it readily there? Like, yep, we got the money to invest in this, let's roll. What was your journey in securing capital or really making sure that you had the financial resources to start?
Okay, so when I walked in the space, I saw the rooms, did a little math in my head. We're going to need this, we're going to need that. And then I realized I do have some savings, but it's not going to be enough to really carry me to furnish this place for the first few months as we get rolling. So I asked a very dear friend of mine, and she loaned it to me, so I paid that back to her over time. And then my husband, we were still dating then, he also gave me some money to support the effort. So in the beginning, you know, I had the mindset of debt is bad, and that has since changed depending on, you know, how you use it. But back then I didn't want to owe anybody except, you know, people that were close to me.
How now that, and I'll ask you this question about your second location in a moment, but now that you have been successful in making sure that your first location is sound and running and you feel good about it, how important has securing money been for your second location? Has it been a challenge or you've been good to go?
I have not really sought out to secure any funds for that just yet. I'm in a good space there. Mm-hmm. Not that, I mean, we could all use extra money. So I think if I do, my first route would be grants, because the city has a lot of grants for small businesses, particularly those that have brick and mortar. So.
Yeah. I think this is a good time also for you to talk about the second location. I've mentioned the second location several times, and it's a unique space. Yeah, tell us about it.
Okay, so actually the second location is a 40-foot container. It is part of a community of Black women, Black business owners, created by Angel Gregorio. She's the owner of the Spice Suite. And there are 4 containers, mine being one. There's a braider, there's a nail salon, and a hairstylist as well. And so it's a 40-foot container, much smaller than what I'm used to. But yeah, it's cute, it's intimate. We're making it work.
Yeah. Nicole and I were just having a conversation, and I asked her, how's the second location going, right? And how are you managing being over there? And she said to me the wildest thing that I never expected. She said, I'm not over there. And as an entrepreneur that's like doesn't have to be in their second space, I'm like, what? What do you mean you're not over? Like, Brandon, you know, you're like, what you mean you're not over there in the second location, right? Tell us, like, you know, how have you been able to, let's break it down in 2 questions, okay? What are the challenges that you feel in opening up a second location and you not physically being there? What are the challenges that you're maneuvering through?
I would just say, of course, not having the oversight. However, as I grow, I'm not going to be able to be present everywhere. I am looking for a manager that can do that for me so I can even more not be there. But I think that the way this project worked out, I had an existing employee. So she had trained under me for some months prior to transitioning. So she knows how we run the business. It wasn't someone that I just hired and sent her on her way to be on her own. So she's intimately familiar with how we operate. So I'm not concerned. And then when issues do arise, we have coaching sessions. If I need to do additional training, then that's what happens.
Thank you for that. And there's a reason why I asked this question. It is because, and I'm speaking for myself for a moment, but I know that other starters have a challenge with this because many of you have shared that with me. Just giving up some of the stuff, right? Delegating some of the stuff. It's a challenge. Like I can literally remember when Tynesha, who's my executive partner at Scarlett, joined the team, I was probably doing her job and my job for the first 6 months because I wasn't ready to give away the tasks, right? I knew how to do the tasks, but is that really where I provide the most value to the business, doing the tasks that I've hired somebody else to do the tasks for, right? And it's uncomfortable sometimes giving up the stuff, but it's necessary if you want to grow and create space to learn, to connect, to expand. And so I appreciate you for being transparent about that. Tell me about what you do when you get stuck. What's your go-to?
What I should do. No, I try to just brain dump and put things on paper so I can see them. Most times my mind is a million miles a minute with all of the to-do lists in my head. So when I'm stuck, it's typically because I have way too much up here that needs to go on paper. But outside of that, I pray. I talk to my husband. He normally gives me some advice that I don't listen to at first, but then but then I realized, okay, he could be right. And then I also have a circle of
He might be right. I don't know. Let me read an article.
I have a circle of friends also in the beauty industry, but also who are entrepreneurs that I also, talk to about things when I'm having issues as well. So
yeah, I appreciate you making a commitment to having entrepreneurs around you, right? I can remember a time early in my entrepreneur journey where I was almost trying to make everyone around me entrepreneurs. Everybody don't need to be no entrepreneur. Y'all know it's actually sort of hard, right? And instead, just appreciate my friendships for what they are, but to find a community of entrepreneurs that are on the same journey as you. That is the reason why Just Start exists, that are having the same challenges that you have, that speak some of the same language that you do, right? Instead of trying to go and unload, sometimes always on your partner or your spouse, right? Or always on your best girlfriends that have corporate jobs. Like, are you cultivating a meaningful circle of people that can support you along the way, okay? Nicole, tell me about what's next. What's next for you and the business? And you can't say, I don't know.
I'm quitting.
You're not quitting. You're not quitting.
No, I'm kidding. So we have the second location in Northeast DC. And then I'm also establishing partnerships. I have a partnership with the hair salon called Hair in Space. And so we're doing a brow bar there. So we're hiring. So I'm looking to do more partnerships like that where I can already existing businesses kind of set up a pop-up space there. But in addition to that, I kind of look at some of the other beauty businesses that have longevity, like your Benefit Brow Bars and your Anastasia Brow Bar. And what are they doing? And most of what they're doing is product-based. So while they have these brow bars, most of their money comes from products. And so that's next for me. I do have a small brow line, including Brow Zhuzh, which is our eyebrow conditioning treatment. So it helps kind of restore brows that have been over tweezed and over waxed over the years to help bring them back to life. But I'm looking to launch I have a line, but manufacture my own line of brow products as well as pre and post care for waxing.
Awesome. And there, I'm grateful that you have transitioned or added another item to the catalog of services that you provide. It is also a great opportunity for you to share the product opportunity that we have here at the 2023 Just Start Summit. If you haven't already been down to the lower level, we have a product lab down there. And it is designed for you to give immediate feedback to people that are starting things. There are 2 products in the product lab today. Jennifer Peoples from Perfect 10 Mixology wants you to give her some feedback, right? This is it. Like, what do you love about it? What do you not love about it? What would you change about it? How much would you pay for it? Like, this is it. Give her the feedback. And then we have another product line that'll be here this afternoon, Live, Laugh, Be Jeweled. If you've ever seen the jewelry that I wear that usually is made by one woman, Erica Boone, she's also going to be asking for feedback. I want you to be honest with these people, right? We want to see their products scale and grow, but we need your feedback to do so, okay? And no, you can't get any free drinks or free earrings. I'm just playing. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. All right. Awesome. Last question. It's a really important one. How can we support you?
Referrals are great. we actually have a referral program. So anyone you send our way, you'll get a $10 credit towards your services with us. Definitely appreciate referrals. If you want to donate, that's also great. But really, just tell people about us. You can find us online at prmpbeautystudio.com. That's Primp. And I took the I out because we are a team. So there's no I in team and there's no I in Primp. You can also find us on Instagram at Primp Beauty. You can find me on Instagram at Love Nicole Alexis. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I want to say thank you for joining us.
No, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for your transparency, right? It is important that I bring people that are willing to tell the truth, people that are willing to be transparent, people that have good energy. Like, you always have good energy when I'm in your chair and when I'm not in your chair, and I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you being a role model for many other entrepreneurs now and entrepreneurs to come. And of course, we're going to help you just start and just start and just start again. So thank you for being here, Nicole.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
I hope you guys enjoyed.